Great to see so many folks here. Pleased that you could make it. And this is actually the last town hall meeting of 2019. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. It's wonderful to be back at this beautiful and dry North Hudson campus. And I understand this is the first kind of event in this room since the roof was finally repaired, so nice to be back. I'm going to start by just saying how delighted we are to welcome our newest colleague, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Darrell Jones. This is his first town hall meeting. Welcome, Darrell. For those of you who haven't met him, Darrell comes to us from Harrisburg Area Community College, or HAC, where he was Vice President with responsibility for HAC's full-service York campus. He has a strong background in higher education leadership, and very interestingly, I think I've got it right, Darrell, you're a resident of Springfield, New Jersey. I am. Which is where his family has lived since he worked at Seton Hall University earlier in his career. So he's really coming back home. And reporting to Eric, he's going to lead and support our academic programs. He's going to be a member of our cabinet. And Darrell, would you like to offer your remarks? How long has it been now? 3 weeks?
I'm going to stop counting days. I promised myself at the beginning of this week I would take the training wheels off, so I'm no longer refer to how new I've been at the college. But it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to just say a brief words. I won't be here long, but I would like to offer a brief observation and also pose a challenge to you. In the short time that I've been here, I can honestly say that we're headed in the right direction as we are addressing some of these student success issues. We are having transparency, everybody is engaged in the process, and as I meet with people, as I listen to people, there's a lot of enthusiasm, and people feel that they are part of the process. And with new initiatives, there's often a lot of stress that's involved. People will pull at you for deadlines, people will pull at you for new information, and when you feel that you're stressed, with all of the great initiatives that we're doing to move us in the right direction, just breathe out. When you feel that you haven't been thanked for what you're doing, if you feel that someone hasn't said they appreciate you, just breathe in and let it out and give a big smile. And one final thing that I've learned, one of my favorite proverbs, yes, I'm that guy that's always mentioning proverbs, so get used to me, is that when the people put in the hard work, we can get fire out of a stone. So when you're working on these tasks, when you're called into yet another meeting where you're asked to give some information on a report, just think if we put in the hard work, we'll be rewarded with fire from the stone. Okay? So thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to be doing that. We really do all look forward to working with you, and you're off to a great beginning, so thanks so much. At our November Board of Trustees meeting, we were delighted to welcome our new student alumni representative to the Board of Trustees, and that is someone most of you know well, Abderrahim Salih. Most of you know that he was an exceptional student here, having graduated summa cum laude last May with an associate in science degree in computer science. And subsequently, Rahim was accepted to Columbia University to continue his studies. And he's also concurrently taking several additional courses at Hudson County Community College and saving tuition. It's going to be wonderful having him attend and participate in our board meetings over the next year. Our campus community has been very busy, including excellent work in so many of the priority areas that we've been talking about: student success, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and related areas. And themes of this work were really evident in yesterday's inspirational report out, and I want to thank and congratulate all who offered excellent presentations about the transformational work of this college. I just sat there really feeling such a sense of pride and just gratitude for really best practice work that's being done across the college. I think this was Eric's idea a few years ago. Fantastic idea, and my hope is that over time maybe we can do more things like this where we actually encourage our colleagues and our students to showcase their work and talk about their scholarship and share and also celebrate. In fact, I was speaking this morning with Michael Verlies about that, like potentially having an annual event at the end of the year where we would actually recognize and celebrate retiring faculty, but also recognize faculty who've gained tenure, who have done significant scholarly kinds of things, maybe a mid-year event where we really do talk about things that have been published, articles, presentations, etc. So to the extent that there's an interest in doing those kinds of things, I want to support that as possible. I also want to thank the over 300 employees who completed the Institutional Capacity Assessment Tool Survey, or ICAT, in preparation for the second visit of our Achieving the Dream coaches, Drs. Mary Fifield and Renee Garcia, who were here, as you know, just before the Thanksgiving holiday. I want to thank many of you who participated in our Capacity Cafe. The room was full to the gills and very active, and people were engaged, and that was also fun to watch. As you're all aware, our Achieving the Dream and larger student success efforts are led by Heather DeVries and Sheila Dinan. Is Heather here? Heather is. Sheila's unable to be here because she right now is with our disability consultants. We'll be talking about that in a moment. But Heather, would you like to give us any updates or talk about next steps?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. As Dr. Reber said, we had 321 ICAT surveys completed. That's amazing. That's about a third of our overall employees, with probably about half of full-time faculty. We had 65 adjuncts, which may seem like a small head count, but Mary and Renee really marveled at that number. They said it was the highest adjunct participation they had ever seen, and they've been doing this for many years across many colleges. So for those of you who interact with adjuncts, please congratulate them. Please extend Sheila and my thanks. Otherwise, Dr. Reber, from our Capacity Cafe, again, thank you to the over 130 people who have participated and took the afternoon to really engage with colleagues you may not normally sit with or talk to, or may not even know their names. So thank you for taking the time. It's important work. I personally reviewed all the worksheets, and they were scanned and sent out to you. Dr. Reber sent out that email Monday morning. So if that slid in, is hiding somewhere, please take the time to review the results as you are able. The core and strategy team of our Achieving the Dream team is working through kind of doing the heavy lifting with the qualitative data, reading through it, pulling out themes, and we'll be disseminating that work as it becomes available. The ICAT survey results we do have, and those will accompany Mary and Renee's follow-up letter to us in an email probably before we break for Christmas and New Year's. So stay tuned for that. And otherwise, all of this data, I mean, it's really a year of data exploration, and we're really getting deep into that now as we work to figure out what kind of themes and what kind of gaps are common across all these data points, and see what kind of initiatives we really need to develop and get behind to move the needle on completion. Otherwise, we're busy preparing finally for the Dream Conference, Dream 2020 in February. It is in National Harbor, Maryland. Sheila and Jenny are presenting on changing the culture of registration. Some of you got a sneak preview of that yesterday. And then otherwise, 8 students are attending. 8 of our Dream Team student representatives are attending, and that's wonderful. 2 are attending the Equity Institute with Lisa Doherty and myself. And then Sheila is working very rigorously with the students on getting their applications submitted for the Dream Scholars. So we're hoping to have some positive results to report there. Any questions? Thank you.
So I think this work is really unfolding beautifully, and just a reminder, we are organized so that by the end of this academic year, we as a community will have pinpointed, let's say, 2 or 3 areas of focus with goals, with measurable goals, and so we're gradually moving toward that point. And when we get the full survey results out to you along with the letter from our coaches, and I'm expecting that momentarily, I think it'll be soon, we're going to organize some town hall meetings so that we have an opportunity as a college community to talk about what does this mean and really kind of engage in what are the themes and get everybody involved. Heather, as always, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic work. And then speaking of surveys, I also want to thank the more than 800 Hudson County Community College students, faculty, and staff who recently completed our Diversity Campus Climate Survey. The results are being formatted and soon will be shared with our college community for review and discussion. And I want to thank Eurus Pupils and Lisa Williams, who co-chair the new President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, for their leadership. And ask them to maybe say a few words about the work of PACTI and next steps. Eurus and Lisa.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Reber. Thank you also. Good morning, Dr. Eric Freeman, and to all of our colleagues here. Eurus and I, we definitely are experiencing that this is a lot of work. It's great work. It's a major task. It involves everyone at Hudson County Community College, a lot of our community members, of our board members. The survey itself did launch in October, toward the end of October, October 25th. It closed on November the 18th. And yes, like Dr. Reber mentioned, there's about 800, almost 800 respondents, and we have 447 students, and somewhere around 370 employees. It was a big effort, and it really showed us that Hudson could come together and pull something like that off, because in order to start from scratch, it was months and months of putting this survey together. It took a lot of input from, a lot of people around the campus, from various departments, various units, a lot of making sure that we weren't leaving anything out and not trying to put too much. The survey, as those of you who took the survey know, the survey was very long. It's a lot of information that we were trying to gather, and now we're at the point where we have to disseminate all this information to all of you and find ways to do that. So we've had a couple of meetings, and now Eurus can talk about what we're going to be doing next.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to thank Jose Lowe and the ACC and everyone involved in the process. Like, I understand that we took a project that was almost done and we released it. And when we released it, we were like, oh my God, we're done. Well, the report that we got, if we put together the students and the faculty and administrators and the trustees, it's like about 400 pages altogether. So we're hoping to have a product out there that is comprehensive, that tells the story and that promotes the transparency that I feel that we're all kind of experiencing at the college. Again, thank you for taking the survey. And once we have the next meeting scheduled for next week, that's going to be the first group that we will share the information with. And at that point, then we're going to start to have other information sessions to make sure that it's there. And because the information is there, we want to make sure that we not only use it, right, but we want to make sure that we get in essence what it is that all of you are saying. But again, thank you, Dr. Reber, for having this event here in our content, and thank you. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Lalisa or Eurus?
She'll take the hard ones.
Excellent. Well, so both of these efforts, and there's such an intersection between our student success efforts and our equity, diversity, inclusion efforts. These surveys are going to really give us some rich data and information that will inform our practice and really help us understand what are our shared priorities for our attention. One of the things I did want to share in the exit meeting that Eric and I had with Drs. Playfield and Garcia is they commented, he's not here unfortunately, I hope his ears are burning, but let me remind you, these two coaches are coaching colleges all over the country and have been for years. And Mary's a retired president, and Renee led enrollment management at Miami-Dade for years. So these folks know what they're doing. And one of the things they shared with us is they had just come from, I think, a presentation of the data team, and that John Scanlon led. And John was sharing some of his initial work that he's doing to really not only collect data, but find user-friendly ways to present it and disaggregate it. And they said it's the best data presentation they have ever seen in their work as coaches. Wow. I think that says a lot. So as we all know, our student success efforts are in so many ways about removing barriers to degree completion. It boils down to removing barriers. And we've been working with two nationally recognized consultants As many of you know, because I know many of you are really involved in this work, they're helping us gain insight into how we can more effectively support individuals in distress, and also how we can support individuals who need support in the areas of disabilities and access. And I want to thank Vice President Lisa Doherty and her whole team, David Clark and Veronica Gerasimo and others, for their leadership of both of these consultant visits. These are really, there's a lot of work involved here, and in fact the disabilities consultant, which is absolutely, this team is nationally recognized, are here right now, which is why Lisa and some of the others are not here. But that second visit is just concluding. So we're looking forward to the new opportunities to serve our community members that are going to be supported by these partners. So we're going to continue to work with both. Each partner is going to be providing us with initial observations and recommendations for our work going forward. And I'm confident in both cases we're really going to get to the next level of supporting students in a way that all of us can feel good about. So more to come on that. Also, another really good thing, I'm pleased to share that at our November meeting of the Board of Trustees, our project to install state-of-the-art ITV equipment at this campus and the Journal Square campus was approved. This equipment will be installed in classrooms and meeting rooms on both campuses. And for the first time, it will allow us to share classes and meetings virtually beginning next fall. That's when we expect it to be up and running. A lot of folks were involved. I know Lauren, Drew was, Tricia Clay has really provided leadership. I want to thank you, Tricia, and Lauren, and others who worked on the task force that looked at different kinds of equipment and models and led us to the decision to acquire this. Will you, Tricia, just kind of update us?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be here. The task force that Dr. Reber mentioned, he called, and Eurus and Lauren Drew, Hardik Sangvia on my team, and Archana Barndari and Bob Kahn from the Center for Online Learning participated in. And what we were looking for was a rich, immersive video connection. So we're looking at installing in this room, also in 511 and 703 upstairs for meeting rooms and classes, and then in Scott Ring in the Culinary Center in L518 and A418 in the Journal Square campus. And what we're looking to do now is soon the purchasing process will be complete, and then we'll be looking for the times when these rooms can be available for construction, which, as you know, is interesting with classrooms. So we're going to move forward probably with meeting rooms first, and then these larger meeting spaces as the time is available for the construction. And then look forward to seeing some ribbon cutting and workshops that you can participate, that I really hope you all will be willing to participate in. So does anyone have any questions? Always ask Eurus or because they were intimately involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. This is an easy group today. But let me just say, this is really, I think this is going to be fantastic. Now this equipment is far advanced over anything you might have seen a number of years ago. And my understanding is the camera will zoom in, so if you're talking from one location, it can zoom in to individuals, the instructor, zoom in, zoom out. It's very seamless. It's very high quality. And it will allow us, I think, to really bring the two campuses together. We want to do lots of things together, but sometimes, and especially the burden is on the folks here, driving to the other campus for meetings and back. It's a challenge, and it takes a lot of time, and so this will provide the opportunity to really get more people involved and not always have to drive. And so I think that is fantastic. I think it'll also, by the way, allow us to not always think first that it makes sense to originate a meeting at Journal Square and then invite people to come over here. If you have the connection, you can originate here and still bring in the audience at Journal Square just as easily. The other thing that I'm very excited about is the implications this has for our academic programs. And I know this was discussed just this morning, I think, at the Dean's Council. What we really want to do is begin to use this technology to link classes at Journal Square and North Hudson, so that if you have, let's say, an under-enrolled section on one of the campuses, you can then also extend the same section to the other campus and together have a vibrant, rich enrollment. Because our campuses are relatively close, and this is my expectation, and I hope it doesn't violate any contractual issues, where we do this, my one requirement is the faculty member has to agree to spend equal amounts of time on each campus. So half the time the faculty member would be here, half the time at Journal Square, and everybody gets a good, rich, vibrant experience. Strategically, if you think about this, we will now be able to offer courses here that we haven't maybe been able to offer in the past just because of market issues and just because of enrollment numbers, which will allow us to begin to offer other full programs here. Not that we want to do all of them ITV, but we can bring some courses in that way, some on the ground, and begin to offer more full programs here, which serves this community, which grows the enrollment here. So it's really all win-win, I hope, a win for the students as well. So exciting, yes?
I just wanted to mention there are also some accessibility
Yes.
opportunities here because lectures they are automatically captioned and they can also be recorded. So for people that need
Absolutely.
that kind of assistance.
But it's a very important point.
Right.
And then as we learn and you know, if we discover that this is really useful, we can certainly grow the number of facilities that are brought online. And I think we specifically are going to be interested in determining whether this will have application at our new Secaucus Center. That's really taking off very nicely, and so it might be an opportunity to bridge courses and offer more there as well. Okay, so thanks, Tricia. Yes.
Just real quick,
Yes.
since we're on this topic. My own concern, but maybe you guys have already worked that out. Awesome, I've seen this work, but you'll always need some kind of support.
Yes.
And whichever.
Thank you, very important point. So our commitment is to have IT support when those facilities are being used on both ends.
And what about students themselves being in the classroom without, in other words, they've got to come in, you know what, this is probably a bigger conversation than for this meeting.
You mean would there be some, a physical presence of the instructors?
Just it doesn't even need to be an instructor.
Yeah. Yes, probably so. Yep. I know
That's
exactly.
crowd control later.
But you're right. We want to do this with integrity. So we want this to be
academic coaches. Okay.
Very good. Okay, so recently, 3 consulting firms who specialize in HR and specifically the development of employee position classification systems were invited to offer presentations at the Journal Square campus. And I thank many of you who attended these presentations and have offered feedback on the selection of a firm. And I'd like to ask Vice President for HR, Anna Krupitsky, to talk to us about next steps with this project.
Hi, everyone. So thank you to those of you who were able to come and hear the presentation and give your feedback. I think overall we had about 60 feedback forms for all 3 consultants. So at this point, we're summarizing the ratings. Each form had the ratings, so we're summarizing the ratings and some of the comments or trends in the comments, and I'll be discussing the feedback with Dr. Reber and Cabinet next week. And then I do anticipate that we're still on the timeline to have a consultant, a recommendation for a consultant to be presented on the January board. And as soon as that happens, I think all of them are pretty ready to get started. Because the biggest initial stage of the project will really be our own kind of homework and what we have and the documents that we have and the job descriptions that we have. And so we're ready to kind of go ahead with that. So that's where we are. Any questions? Thank you.
Easy group. I think we should have all the meetings here. No, actually, it's always fun. Thank you, Anna. Really, really important work. And it's going to be work that will take some time for us to do because we want to really do it well. But yes, indeed, we want to get it started in January. And our commitment is complete transparency all the way through the process. And we're going to be emphasizing to the firm that partners with us that we want them to fully engage with the college community up front, and so we want to be interactive and sharing the work and getting everyone's input. At the November meeting of the board, they also approved the hiring of a national search firm to help us recruit a new vice president for advancement in communications. Lindauer Associates, which is based in New York and Boston, is the largest search firm in the nation that specializes in the recruitment of advancement and fundraising talent. This is, recruiting really skilled advancement professionals is very tough because when they're really good, everyone wants them. And so we had one search, it just did not bring us the person that we knew we were looking for. So with the help of this search firm, the position will soon be advertised nationally again, and our search firm will now actively recruit candidates whose backgrounds and skill sets match our profile for this position. So we're moving beyond just encouraging people to apply to having a firm of professionals that are going to be recruiting them by phone, the old-fashioned way, calling people, making them, maybe people that aren't even thinking of moving, making them aware of this opportunity, and then bringing us a set of qualified candidates that our screening committee can then review, and we hope to be bringing candidates on campus for interviews sometime this spring. So I thank all of our screening committee members who are remaining engaged in this work in the second round, and this time we're going to hire that person and really, with their leadership and support, begin to do all of the good work of getting the college positioned for major gift fundraising for our first ever capital campaign, and for beginning to grow the fourth leg on our financial stool: gifts, grants, foundation support. I'm remiss, by the way, I want to go back to the report out. I mentioned that it was Eric's idea. I do want to thank Chris, because I think, Chris, you played a leadership role in that, right? Who else?
I think Heather's name keeps coming up.
Heather.
So it's fair. Heather put together the order of the presentations, recruited people, and Hope assembled a slide deck and made sure that all A through Z work. So Heather and Hope deserve a lot of
Beautifully
credit.
done. And how many presentations do we have?
13.
13. Really great.
And if I could, all throughout, I kept thinking, who else should be? This should be. So look for something from Heather or me for a spring report out.
Excellent.
And if you have not already responded to the survey, please do, because we're going to use that in putting together the next iteration.
Very good. Wouldn't it be nice to have the holiday break when we don't have to fill out surveys? We're looking forward to the 22nd annual Holiday Gala fundraiser. Speaking about holidays, this evening at the Culinary Conference Center, this year's theme is Cultures and Diversity. So as I understand it, the evening is going to be organized around cuisines that represent the cultures of our diverse student body. And our honorees, this is of course the foundation event, the honorees are Frank Gargiulo, who's the retired superintendent of Hudson County Schools of Technology, and Gary Greenberg, who's executive director and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hudson County. And I want to thank our foundation board and Vice President Nicholas Chevroletti and Planning and Development Assistant Marta Sanchez. They're both very busy right now. Dean Paul Dillon and all our faculty, staff, and students in the Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management program for their creative planning and stellar leadership of what I know is going to be an exceptional program tonight, as it is every year. So I hope their ears are burning, and I know it's going to be a great event, and we expect really strong participation, and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money tonight for scholarships. I'm going to stop there, and I'm happy to entertain questions, but also if you have things you'd like to share, we would love to have you do that. And if you don't volunteer, I'll call on you. Okay.
Well, just a quick, for those who are on the North Hudson campus, on Monday at 1 p.m., we're going to have a paint and sip. apple cider, sir.
Thank you. So Monday, 1 p.m. we'll have a paint and sip, so please feel free to come. If you can RSVP to the email that Amala had sent out, I think it would be great so that we can prepare for the setup. It will actually be hosted by Mr. Omar Williams and myself, our two sort of secret painters. So we look forward to having you come here. I think it would be really fun, an opportunity for you to engage, an opportunity for us to get to know you. So I think that's it.
Excellent.
Hey, Anna,
Yes.
what are we painting on Monday?
Omar, what are we painting on Monday?
It's a night setting, like a winter wonderland. Nice.
So just apple cider?
It's during office hours.
Because usually, you know, when I did it, as I drank wine, it got more colorful. Others? Yes, sir.
You were talking a couple of times about the report out. The report out, one of the highlights for me, and I wanted to recognize Jenny Bobea. She brought students up who talked about the value of being in the honors program, and beyond the absolutely moving testimony from one of the students, the evolution of the honors program itself and where she is taking it, using best practices, having visited several other honors programs and done research, it is just wonderful to see at this college. So my hat's off to Jenny Bobea.
Absolutely. Chris?
And speaking of honors, if you're interested in seeing work by students in the honors program, if you're interested in seeing work by students in the honors program, this afternoon between 4 and 6 in the STEM multi-purpose room, there will be a poster presentation. I've enjoyed the evolution of those presentations over the years, and I look forward to seeing what students have in store for us this evening.
You know, and if I could just say, I could only attend 2 of the student research presentations that were done a day or 2 ago, and I had to go, but I was just blown away by the 2 women that did their presentations. Jenny had asked honor students to read a criticism of the liberal arts. You know, liberal arts are outdated and don't lead to good jobs, and we should stop doing them. And she asked the students to write what was essentially a response to that, putting themselves in the position of being reporting to the person that wrote that and writing a response. And one young lady read her piece. I'm going to tell you, it sounded like a graduate research paper. I mean, it was exquisite. And as someone whose background's in the humanities, it was great. She's a STEM student. Yeah, what a great program. Other comments? Yes.
Hello. So I'm not sure if all of you have seen the communication come out about the Open Dialogue series we started on this campus, Same, Different. Thank you, Desiree, because she worked really hard to communicate that and come up with the flyer. We had our first session on the 20th, and what was supposed to be an hour and a half turned into a 3-hour open dialogue session because it it took off once we started to have a discussion. And this first series was about cultural expression, cultural identities, how we embrace or reject our cultures. And we had a decent turnout. We had 10 students, and it went really well. The next one is scheduled for December 20th. So if any of you are interested, it's open to staff, faculty, and students. And it's here in the multi-purpose room.
Others, questions, comments?
God, it's good to have the multi-purpose room back.
Yes. Including the art.
Does anybody know about this art? We should have
Tell us.
Andrea tell us about this art. Well, this art is a balance to the Christian art that's up on this floor. And this is a Jewish artist, and I'm going to forget his name right now. This is an acquisition that Andrea Andrea, from time to time, just happens into these really fortunate situations where somebody is looking to downsize their collection, and we benefit from getting significant artists and significant pieces. So throughout this building, you'll see Middle Eastern, as well as Christian, as well as Jewish, and some other cultures represented in different exhibits and different collections. So it's all balancing and playing off each other in the spirit of what Amala just spoke about, representing the diversity of the cultures that are represented here.
So one of the other hats I wear outside of the co-chair for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, PAC Day for that council, is to be the Director for Faculty and Staff Development. Or maybe that's my first hat and the co-chair is my second hat. So I just want to make sure that everyone feels very comfortable with contacting me or your supervisor first, of course, and then through them to me or vice versa about any professional development ideas you may have, or suggestions or topics or comments or suggestions. Many of you have already participated in many workshops. We do workshops here. Some of you have traveled all the way to Journal Square to attend workshops. Some of you attend workshops online. You're getting your degrees, or you're continuing your education, or you're going to different webinars and things of that nature. That's great and that's wonderful. And let someone know. If you're doing those things, you should first and foremost, you should keep a record of it yourself. You should take the time to write down what you're learning and how you're growing and how you're developing. My supervisor, Dr. Eric Friedman, he asks me at least twice a year, but definitely once a year, what am I doing for my own professional development? It's his job to tap me on the shoulder and remind me that I should be doing something. But I do appreciate that he does ask me so. But my job is to, promote professional development for all faculty and staff. So please, some people are not so open and, able to just get up in front of people or tell people what they want. So you can just email me, or you can give a phone call, leave a message. Yes, Anna, and yes. And Anna Krapinski, we're absolutely partnering on a lot of, because also HR has a big role in training and development as well. So we're partnering together on some projects that you'll hear about, but I really want people to feel comfortable. It might just be a book. Maybe there's just a book that you want to get that could help you develop your skill sets, your personality, your attitude, or all of those things involve our professional development. There's a wellness center coming on board. We've had wellness workshops, and not just from my department, but from all the different departments. I see flyers all the time, health fairs. So please make sure you do that. And then on January 21st, we do have College Service Day. So please put that on your calendar, and if you have any suggestions about that, you can always send those to us as well. But thank you.
And I should also mention, Student Center is coming along very nicely. They're always two steps forward, one backward, but overall I think went well. Anything you want to say, Elliot?
No, we are doing good. Like Chris said, we have some good and bad days, but presently we have good news. So finally PCNG and trying to make the last step, giving us connection to electricity and gas, happening right now. So we hope for the best, but the schedule will be, of course, we're going to clarify as close we're going to get to it. But so far so good. We already see the light at the end of the tunnel. We got our faculty and staff team visiting a couple times the disability consulting. They also we brought them to the building, they looked at the building and they liked what they saw. So we are very positive and look forward for another month when we finally going to move in.
Excellent. And then we'll be able to, we can do some set town halls there. Recently, I don't want to put people on the spot, but I attended the last meeting of the All College Council. How many of you were there? Okay, so a number of you were. I thought it was fantastic. Full people, lots of healthy discussion, and I just, a day or two ago, signed 3 governance recommendations. Anything you want to share, Lauren?
Yeah, so as Dr. Reber mentioned, we had a very busy meeting the last time, and thank you to many of you who were there. One of the changes that we voted on were actually a few changes to College Hour. So starting in fall 2020, the name of College Hour is going to change to Common Hour. So you'll be hearing more about that. There'll be a lot of promotion for this time. It's also going to move, right now it's 12:30 on Thursdays. It's going to become 2 o'clock on Thursdays, 2 to 3:30 on Thursdays. And again, that's starting in the fall. The other governance recommendations that we passed, one was encouragement for all instructors to post their syllabi online. So that'll make it easier for students to access it and access it in a variety of ways. So they can use accessibility tools and kinds of things like that. We're hoping that there'll be more training available for instructors starting early in the spring. And then finally, the last governance recommendation was an increase on the credit limit for the work-life portfolio. So students, instead of being limited to 12 credits, can get 13 credits if they've had significant work experience. So for example, police officers are looking for promotion can, get 4 credits to replace an extra instead of just 3.
Questions for Lauren?
Sorry, I don't know. Everybody keeps doing that.
Excellent.
She's being very gracious with the use of the word encouragement.
Yes.
Syllabus online, but we're really going to be looking at an expectation that all of the faculty will be posting their syllabus online. Even from the ground level, it's a disability and access issue for students. There's a new software that was presented on yesterday at Report Out that can transform a Word document into the spoken word for those who are having vision challenges. So it is an encouragement, but it crosses that fuzzy borderline into expectation and requirements. So.
Yep. Others? Comments, questions, concerns, gripes?
I just have one.
Yeah. Is it a gripe?
No. It's an encouragement. If you know a senior faculty member or a faculty member who is a coordinator, and you get value out of the town hall, the Report Out, and so many of these informational sharing opportunities, please encourage them to come on board and be part. Because what I notice is that through a number of venues, we cover and we overlap and we try to hit all corners of the institution. But please encourage folks that nobody bites here, and that there's just so much to learn about all of the student success initiatives and all of the wonderful ways that the college is moving forward and promoting those things that help us eliminate those barriers that Dr. Reber started talking about at the beginning. So it will be important for those who are, at the division level, at the department level, throughout the academic branch, that they come and they realize, as the new year launches, that they participate and hear all of this through these different venues.
Absolutely. Others? Well, speaking about other venues, Chris, can you give us an update on the Sea Caucus site? I think there's good things happening at Sea Caucus.
So, biggest update, I guess, would be that we are on track to graduate our first group of high school students who will also be earning their associate's degree. We've got seniors at High Tech in their environmental academy who will be earning their associate's degree with us, and so we're in that process of hammering out, their participation in our commencement ceremony. But they're excited about that. A little funny side note, though, I've had 1 or 2 people who are actually the students, not their parents, who are disappointed because it means that they will only spend 2 years at their next college versus the full 4 years of living on campus and doing all of that. They said, wait a minute, there's less time I'm going to be in college? So I have to figure out how to sell that correctly. But
Call a master's degree.
yeah, they can stay on for that. And other news, so we're currently enrolling now for the remainder of the groups, and we've also got the second academy online, their Design and Fabrication Academy, which will also lead to associate's degree in math and science. So we're really excited about that. It's been, having that actual presence on site on a daily basis in the school really helps, because those high school students come directly to Adriana, who is our student success coach, versus having to first stop at their counselor and then wait until the rotation comes through of somebody visiting. They go directly to Adriana, and we can work with those students to get them enrolled and advised. And we're now talking about how we level up that experience. Those students are our students as well. They're paying tuition. They are Hudson County Community College students in every way, and so we have to think about, and we're currently thinking about how we provide them a fuller college experience outside of just class offerings, what we can do for them in regards to career development and even activities that are targeted towards their cohort of students. So we're excited about that. We've also got the evening classes rolling, so if any of you are involved, if any of you are students and are thinking of taking an evening class, come see us. If any of you are involved in advising students, please remind them that we have the opportunities in the evening over in Sea Caucus with free parking and plentiful parking, which is only at the most 15 steps from the front door. So that's what we've got going on.
Fantastic. And so just to remind you, so we're offering early college instruction for the high-tech high school students. We had this fall, about 100?
Yes.
And then we're offering courses in the evening, and actually we're committing to some full program offerings, although those haven't taken hold yet, for the community at large. And we started with about 60.
We ended up with 56.
56. How are we looking for spring and fall, do you think?
Yeah, we just had a big bump yesterday, so we went from 4 to 12, so we're getting there.
I think you're going to see this enrollment steadily increase, and
we're on the quick term, so we don't start until February.
We're also looking at summer. Is that possible?
We're starting those conversations now. We do need permission to offer summer, but the folks at the advisory board we're very positive about that opportunity, even if it's just evening, sticking to our current plan. They didn't see an issue with that. So.
Yeah, that's all great. So we really have 3 campuses, 3 locations, just to remind us. It's no longer 2, it's 3, and I think Sea Caucus is going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Just a very quick acknowledgement. Chris's presentation at Report Out yesterday, I don't remember the title of it, but it was something about operating a campus on somebody else's grounds. And I hope everybody appreciates what a diplomat he is and how well that he has managed this relationship, because we're really operating a college in somebody else's school. And that takes a special person to be able to do that in a very special high school of technology. And you're pulling it off with aplomb and beautifully. We appreciate that.
And it's reminding me that, I learned yesterday, Gerald Lyons, who works at the high-tech high school, is actually helping us coordinate the evening office.
Yes, he's one of our evening administrators. Yes.
So Gerald Lyons is a member of the Jersey City Board of Education. Many of you may know him. He was just reelected. And actually there's talk about him being chair. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But he has been trying to bring together Sue Henderson at NJCU, Jean Kornakia at St. Peter's, and myself, and our teams to begin to talk about how we can continue to build upon the already robust partnerships that we have among one another and also with the high schools. And yesterday we had a meeting of It was Sue Henderson, myself, and Gerald. Jean couldn't be there. But it was a really wonderful, like, free-flowing 2-hour discussion. And President Henderson at NJCU is full of enthusiasm about additional things we might want to consider doing together. I have my list that I need to share with Eric and others, but she's interested in, can we do partnerships with regard to housing? They have some beautiful housing, they have capacity. Would we want to start to recruit students and residents, maybe students who actually are planning to move from Hudson to NJCU and could be in residence all 4 years, or international students if we could get to recruit them. She's interested in the idea of more 3+1s. I was sharing with her the 3+1s we're doing with Ramapo, and I know that we've just added some more articulations with NJCU. I think in business management, but and sharing events and on and on. I've got a long list, but I wanted to just share that. And I know Jean Cornacchia has the same interest. So my hope is over time we can start to work together and see what we can do that's greater than the sum of the parts on top of what we're already doing. It was interesting that Gerald Lyons was not aware of a lot of what we're currently doing. So his concern is, how do we get the word out about things like CCOG? He was aware of that, although not all of the particulars, but CCOG and pathways like from Hudson to Rutgers Newark with their free program, I think junior, senior year, and the 2+2 nursing program we do on the ground, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's the start of some potentially very good conversations. Other comments or questions? Who can I pick on? So we're going to be advertising the spring town hall meeting dates. Alexa, I want to thank for putting these together. In the spring, we will be having some regular town halls here and in the evenings at Journal Square, as well as during the afternoons at Journal Square. So we're going to we'll publish this and get this out. And anything else? If not, I know I'm going to see a lot of you before the holiday break, but in case I don't see you, have a fantastic holiday break with families, friends, and in case you didn't remember, we close after December 20th.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver.
Thank you very much.